Welcome on, people. It's Mr. Door back again with the last home game preview show. I hope it was all good. We've got Arsenal, another easy game. Another team that will always be at the City Ground. People, do a massive favor for me. Put in the comments, what is your score prediction for tomorrow's game? If you are new to my channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And let's start the show. Right, let's go. First of all, the man himself, Des. How you doing, Des?
I'm good. I'm excited for this one. You know, it's the chance, isn't it? It's now or never, it seems.
No, never. It's another easy game, isn't it, Des? Another easy game.
Well, like you said, Dawn, we always beat them at the City Ground, don't we? I can't even remember in my lifetime when they did beat us, to be honest.
just don't mention the game at their place, because that's just something that we could forget. We got the legend, the man himself, Curtis. How you doing, Curtis?
All good, man. Do you know what? You've caught me at a time when I'm a bit vulnerable, so I can't even say much, you know. But happy to be here. Happy to be here.
The man himself. We have got a special guest, Truth, but he's running Blackman time, so he'll be in a minute, like 5 minutes time. But people in the comments, show some love to all channels, Des and Curtis. It's in the title, so make sure you go and subscribe. Curtis going bang up there, because how many you got now, Curtis? Like 60k subscribers now.
Yeah, 62, I think. Yeah.
Oh, you're going high, Chris. You go to places now, aren't you?
You've got a Mr. Beast diamond play button. Do you know what I mean? You've done well yourself.
Just a tad. People have got any comments, any questions regarding Arsenal to Curtis, and when Duke comes in, please do. I'll give them away. Before we let's ask Curtis. Right, Arsenal season, man, bro.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. People in the comments will get involved. I wanted Arsenal to win the league because they started fantastic. But then, I don't want to say bottle it, because that's a harsh word to say. We spoke, Curtis, about they didn't have strength in January. That was the main concern. But
yeah,
in the whole season, what's your feelings about Arsenal? The season about Arsenal bad?
I think the thing about any football season, it's kind of reflective of how the season finishes. You know, if Forest stay up, you forget whatever happened at the start. You'll be delighted. And I think with Arsenal, it's like we've had a really good season, but the way it's finished, it's just that sense of regret for me, because, I mean, you've seen Man City obviously close up this season. You did well at the City Ground, but obviously at their place.
We helped you out, Curtis. We even helped you out.
I was sending you voice notes that day. One of Chris Ward, you know what I mean? He got us a point, but it's just, you know, if we'd lost, I mean, we lost to City home and away. If that was the reason that we'd lost the league, I can accept that, because I can say, you know what, they're so good. We're just not as good as them. But drawing with West Ham 2-0 up, drawing with Southampton, home and away. I mean, you took 6 points off Southampton. We haven't even beat them this season. Do you know what I mean? Brighton beating us 3-0 at home, and the way we
beat Brighton as well.
And you beat Brighton as well. And then even Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool are a great team, but we were 2-0 up, easing our way to victory, and just out of nowhere, just defensive mistakes. I'm not sure this team knows yet how to get over the finish line. You know, even last season we should have got top 4, threw it away at the end. So listen, we made a lot of progress. We're back in the Champions League. We're obviously a good side. It's just, you look at that Man City game the other night against Madrid. I mean, it's frightening how good they are. So when you've got a chance to nick something off them, I think you've got to take it. So I just feel like the Premier League will be harder next season, because Chelsea will come back, Liverpool will come back, United will spend as well. So it's been a good season, but I think when you play that well, you've got to win a trophy. Even if we'd have won the Europa League, I would have been happy. So good season, progress, but a few regrets at the end of it.
Des, what do you think about Arsenal? Like I said, they've had a good season. I saw there's like a comment from Mark Abbey, and Arsenal still had a brilliant season. And they have, Des, haven't they? It's like, well,
come to me about it as well. And there's something I've watched a lot of Arsenal this season. I've watched a lot on YouTube as well to kind of see how they're getting on. I think I like Arsenal. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal anyway. The football they've played over the years and all those kind of things, and the obvious link with Forest. But it was a point Curtis made. The Liverpool game, you know, that for me was the turning point. And I think, we're listening to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher now call Arsenal bottle jobs and things like this. And I don't think it's that straightforward sometimes in football. Man City are a fantastic football team. Like Curtis said the other night, that was just incredible, wasn't it? Watching that, it was all mesmerised. But what I will say in that Liverpool game, I'm going to contradict that slightly. For me, it's about certain players in the team, and I know Xhaka, for example, has turned it round at Arsenal, but he lost his head a little bit in that Liverpool game.
Yeah.
And that's the winning mentality that Arsenal have not got. If he'd have kept his cool in that game and they'd have run out 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 2-1, whatever winners, I think Arsenal would have then gone on again. But they lost that lead. Yeah. All of a sudden, they lost it right at the end. And then the next couple of games were difficult. And I think it is slightly a case of that winning mentality. And if they improve on the positions where it's quite obvious that Arsenal need to improve on that holding midfield role, there's lots of talk about Declan Rice, right back maybe, another centre back. They're the obvious ones because they've been an absolute joy to watch. I did say at a point, these are going to win it. We're winning out of games here, and they're 6, 8, 9 points clear. But I just felt in that Liverpool game, it was so big. I watched it, really sort of got into the game and studied it. And it just felt like a massive turning point. Followed that, of course, with Southampton, West Ham, and if that goal had come against Southampton, you never know, it might have reignited the season. Yeah. But it just felt like they didn't quite have it. And for me, I don't want to pinpoint one player in particular, but it was Xhaka in midfield who lost it in that Liverpool game for what? A minute and a half?
Yeah.
2 minutes? And from that point, they never really looked forward again, did they? If that's a term that people use, I think it would have been so good for the Premier League, so good for us all, if Arsenal went on and won it. And amazing players. I love Martinelli. I think he's. Yeah. I've gone on Twitter and said I think, and people have laughed at me, he's the next Ronaldo. He's got all those attributes.
Oh, that's a big statement, Des.
That's a big one, Des. That.
There you go. We'll wait and see, won't we? But he can head the ball, he can cross the ball, he can score goals. I think he's got a little bit of everything. And Ronaldo was more. He's better than Ronaldo at his age, when Ronaldo was his age.
Yeah, that is true.
I might be talking rubbish, but I just think there's some absolute quality. I love Saka. Everything he's done for England and Arsenal, and the way he cuts in off that wing and some real good players. But you just think, 2 or 3 more, and they've got a massive chance next season. I just felt they're talking now about Xhaka potentially moving on. I think it's time. He's come good again. He's got over his issues with the Arsenal team and the fans. But I think it was just 1 or 2 players short, which just caught up in the end.
Yeah.
People comment if you can do a massive favour, please do hit the like button if you can. Because your manager, he's had to me back as a Forest fan again. He's had a good season, and we spoke about early on in the season about you wanted him out. What's your feelings now? Because you finished second, but you've done fantastic. But because of your manager, what's your thoughts on him?
No, listen, to be fair, it was more what he'd done before that that opinion came from. I think Arsenal finishing 8th 2 years in a row is not acceptable. But this year, listen, I have to tip my hat to him, even though I'm disappointed we haven't won the league. A lot of what's happened this season is down to him. The style of football, he's adopted it from Pep. He's signed Jesus, Zinchenko. I think as Arsenal fans, we'll know how good this season has been next season. If we build on it and it's the platform for us to move forward on, then we can say, okay, even though we didn't win the league, we've set ourselves up for the next maybe 5 years. If we don't do the big business that we need in the window, then obviously the Chelseas and Liverpools and Uniteds will come back. So I have to tip my hat to him. But at the same time, I think he's got to prove that he can get over the finish line. It's you do have to win trophies, and he's let a lot of the other trophies go to try and win the Premier League. He kind of threw the Europa League away when I think we could have won that. And the FA Cup, I mean, winning the FA Cup kept him in a job a few years ago. So I don't like seeing managers throw trophies away. I think it's arrogant when you just throw an FA Cup away and make 8 changes and get knocked out. And, so for me, it's just win trophies, build on it. Like Des said there, I think we need a few more winners, players that have been there and done it and lifted trophies. And like you said with Xhaka, I mean, yeah, they now, I think Leverkusen have agreed a fee for him. And personally, I'm delighted. A lot of the Arsenal fans are going, oh, yeah, but he's had a great season. But I'm like, we've waited 6 years for this good season. So for me, move him on, give him a pat on the back and improve, whether that's Rice or Caicedo. I think we need a big transfer window.
You've missed Saliba. You've missed him big time, haven't you?
Oh, massively. I mean, they loaned him out for 2.5 years. We've been waiting for him for years, and he's just a Rolls Royce of a centre back. And the thing what's annoying though is, our third choice centre back's Rob Holding. I don't think Rob Holding would get in your team, honestly. No. He's that bad. So when you're taking Saliba out and you're putting Holding in, you're like, how have you put yourself in that situation? Going to Man City and Holding's playing against Haaland, it's just not going to work. So Saliba's unbelievable. But again, with him, he's got a year left on his deal, and there's a lot of stories that PSG are lurking in the background. So they got to make sure they get him to sign a new deal. But yeah, he's unbelievable player.
There's any questions for Curtis?
No, not really. I'd see somebody there, and just something I picked up, just a brief thought. Again, referring back to some of those games and the Liverpool one in particular, when he was just about to bring on Tierney at left back, and put some cover in front of Zinchenko. Someone said there he's a winner, and he obviously is. He's done a lot with Man City. But he's just probably one of them players where I feel it's not quite worked. I don't know what your thoughts are on him. It has worked. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's an addition to what we're there. I wouldn't say he's a bad player by any stretch. But when it comes to the crunch of these big title moments, again, that goal that you conceded at Liverpool when Alexander got down that wing, and it would come in. If you watch the game, it would come in for about 25 minutes. Yeah. And I just think he's one of those players as well where you might think, yes, good, but there's possibly a reason City let him go as well, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
The thing is that there's a difference between winning and being a leader. I think he was part of a group where he won. He's not necessarily a leader. Yeah, he talks a lot and says things like that. But I think the problem with Zinchenko, he's not a defender. He's a natural midfielder.
Yeah,
Man City are that good. I mean, Stones is playing in midfield. They've had, I remember a couple of years ago, they had Fabian Delph at left back, and they still look amazing because their system's like a cheat code, isn't it? So I think Brennan Johnson will probably be disappointed that Zinchenko's injured because I think he would have terrorized him, to be honest. So Tierney will play at left back tomorrow, which I think Arsenal fans are quite happy about because there's talk of him leaving. Because we're in this.
Is it Newcastle? Newcastle, isn't it?
Newcastle, yeah. Everything now, inverted right backs, inverted. I think sometimes just defend properly and do your job. Where Zinchenko's great on the ball. When you're dominating possession, he's a dream. But when you're on the back foot, he's a bit of a weakness defensively. So if Tierney leaves, I think we'd be a bit disappointed if he left because he is a good defender. So we'll see with that one.
Do you think, as a whole season, do you think it's been successful for you? Because, as you know, you just said back-to-back, you finished 8th. What would you say this season for you as a fan has been for Arsenal?
I mean, at the start of the season, the aim was Champions League top 4. So at the start of the season, you give me second, I would have bit your hand off. But obviously, football changes, don't it, on a day-to-day basis. When you're 8 points clear in April, you're thinking, we're gonna nick this somehow. So I think now the dust has settled. The last 2 weeks have been very raw. I've been on Twitter having arguments with Arsenal fans.
You're always arguing, Curtis, man. He's always arguing on Twitter.
Yeah, you know what Twitter is, mate? It's a cesspit.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. He does it all the time. He does it all the time.
Yeah. And you know what? I've watched your channel do daily. It's all about uplifting people and stuff like that. But Twitter, You could go on Twitter and say, you know, it's a nice sunny day, and they'll go, "Oh, what about the clouds? You know, you've offended the clouds." That's Twitter, innit?
He's like crucified for saying the most obvious thing.
Yeah, you can't say anything, but I think now we've calmed down. You know, we'll look at it as a good season, second place, push Man City all the way. But yeah, I just think we've got to build on it. If we have a big summer, spend a couple of them.
That's a question I want to ask. Like, you've been linked with Rice, the Brighton centre midfielder or right back, Camino. Yeah. You've got to improve big time. Where do you think you definitely need to improve midfield? Rice would be a massive coup for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we need two midfielders. Do you know what? I'm on the fence with Rice. I got to be honest. Like, I like him. He's a good player. They're talking about 85 million. I just don't see an 85 million pound player when I watch him. But if Arteta wants him, then you know, I think your manager needs to get the players he wants, as you've seen at Forest. You know, it ain't no good the director buying a player that the manager don't want. So, yeah, Caicedo I like as well. We need two midfielders. I think we need another striker. I like Jesus, but 10 goals is not enough to win a title. Eddie Nketiah as cover is not good enough, and especially in the Champions League. Probably a right back. I think Ben White's done well, but he's not a natural right back. It's been exposed a bit the last few weeks. And a centre back as well as cover for Saliba. So yeah, we need to spend a lot of money this summer. Big money.
I was about to say it's Des, but let me ask you, Chris. You was linked with a Forest player called Danilo. I bet you got it, aren't you?
I keep seeing Danilo do this. And I'm like, yo.
Are you gutted? Are you gutted? Come to a better team.
I knew this was going to be a long night. Let's talk about Forest for a bit. Yeah, that makes me feel better now.
But you was linked with. You was linked with him, weren't you? Was it last season?
In the summer, yeah.
In the summer.
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
I think we agreed a fee with the club, and for some reason we pulled out at the last minute. And Edu, who's obviously sporting director and Brazilian, he was saying that he felt he was a little bit raw in the summer. He didn't know whether he was ready to play for Arsenal. So we're thinking, oh, we'll buy him in January then. And January comes, and I'm like, he's going to Forest. And I'm like, and you got him for a decent price. You know what? I think you've signed an absolute gem. I think he's one of them players that in a year or two, you're talking about like 40, 50 million. Especially, I've heard he's on the verge of the Brazil squad. I know, obviously, they're strong in midfield with like Fabinho, Casemiro's. He probably needs one of them to move out of the way. But I like him, man. I like him. I'm surprised, really, that you kind of held him back for a little bit, didn't you? Played him, and then he disappeared for a while. And Shelby and them lot was playing, and now he looks a player, man. Good player.
What game was it? Like, he was a bit. He's not ready yet. What game was it? I think it was.
I totally get what Curtis is saying there. We signed him, and I've spoke to one or two people who were around the club, and they've said that everybody was surprised in January that we went for him because of the Brazilian season and how it all works. You know, he's probably a little bit tired or not quite ready at the same time. You know, played a lot of games and then continuing on. So he needed a little bit of a break. He come in the Bournemouth game and he did really well. We went away and we signed him as a number 6. You know, somebody to sit at the back of the midfield and play, make and dictate. But and he played a couple of games there because he played well in that first game. And he got kind of lost in the game. The game Dore's talking about is Leeds at home.
Leeds at home, that's it. Leeds at home.
Yes. But he looked out of his depth and he got a yellow card quite early on and he got subbed at half time for Jack Colback. And then Jack Colback had a good game. And that kind of made you think, oh, God, is this the guy that we signed? But since he came back into the team, he had a few weeks out. He's coming in. His position's evolved a little bit. He's now playing attacking midfield. He's the link up between the midfield and Gibbs White and Johnson. Yeah. And he's getting a lot more of the ball. He's making a lot more influence on the game, you know, and he's scoring goals. And if you guys know from people like Odegaard and Lundberg and people like that in the past, you've got a goal-scoring midfielder.
Yeah.
They're invaluable. And this guy, all of a sudden, he's popping up in the penalty area. You know, you look at other teams, Lampard and Keane and Gerrard. I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's at that level yet, but if you unearth that kind of player, I've been looking at some of the values in the comments. Somebody put 160 million. You said 40, 50 million. The thing is, the sky's the limit for him. The guy's 21, and Forest have got him on a 6-year contract. So, like you, Curtis, I believe whether Forest are in the Premier League or not, this guy's going all the way to the top. And I really think he will. And I think Forest, unfortunately, we're not going to ever be in that top bracket, just being realistic. I think he'll move on to one of the top 4 at some point, I think, or a top team in Europe, the traditional ones. And Forest will get a massive return on that investment, which of course will help us. Yeah. But I think what a player he is in the meantime, and he's almost been the player that's turned Forest season around. Gibbs White and Johnson have been brilliant all season, in my opinion, but they've got a little bit of flack when it's not working because they didn't get the ball. There was nobody to get the ball from the back to the front. Danilo's come in when he's settled down, when they find him a different position. He only really played in that position because it was needs must. We was short on numbers, so kind of thrown back in a unnatural position. But since he's got into that role, he's the link now, and he's got 3 or 4 goals and become the player we really need. As much as he needs to play in his role, we need him to do that, and he's looking absolutely immense.
Yeah.
Curtis, Des mentioned about 2 players, Morgan, White and Johnson. What's your thoughts on them 2?
Oh, man. Do you know what? Obviously, me and you speak a lot, and I want Forest to stay up, no doubt. I'm a Nottingham boy. It's great for the city. I'm glad Notts County got promoted. It's good for the city.
God, don't mention County, mate.
You might not agree. Well, you know what I mean? It's
good
for the city.
Because I don't mind Notts County. It's just a fan base.
Okay.
It's a fan base. That's what it is.
But Gibbs, to be honest, most of the time when I've watched Forest play, those 2 are the one. I just look at them 2. I think teams will want them. If the worst case happened, obviously I hope you stay up. But Gibbs White, England under 21. Obviously, Jono went to the World Cup, didn't he, with Wales. Start of the season, I was looking at Jono. I was thinking, you're struggling a little bit here. He looked a little bit one-dimensional to me.
Yeah.
But I think as the season's gone on, I'm sure they've had times during the season where they probably haven't played as well. But I think they're brilliant players, both of them. What I love about both of them is they're risk takers. Johnson gets at the fullback. Gibbs White tries to play that ball that will split your defense open. I think it's easy sometimes a midfield player to just keep the ball and not do anything. Gibbs White will play a pass that will split your defense open or score a wonder goal. So I know you paid big money for Gibbs White, but I think more than anything, what's been so good about Gibbs White, what I've seen is he hasn't come in and just thought, I've made it. I cost 40 million. I'm a big boy. I play for England. He looks like, England under 21s. He looks like he puts a shift in, looks like he cares about your club. And that's what you need. If you've got players there that will run through a brick wall, you've always got a chance. And I think a few others that, Serge Aurier, he's
ex-Spurs player.
He's ex-Spurs, so I don't like him. And Arsenal have had a lot of big fallouts with him on the pitch. But, he's another one that when I watch him play for you, he looks like he'll bleed for the shirt. Do you know what I mean? And I think players like that have given you a chance. So, I really hope you stay up. I think you've got a great chance of staying up because I think you can get at us tomorrow, to be honest. I think we're a wounded animal, which can go one or 2 ways. We might bite back or we might just give up. And then Palace next week. So I think if Cooper keeps you up, he's one of the managers of the season, in my opinion, because the amount of nonsense he's had to deal with and all those players. And, we spoke a few times, didn't we? After Leicester away.
Why are you mentioning that game, Curtis, man?
We got to go back to move forward, you know what I mean? But I was on the phone saying, listen, man.
He's trying to make it depressed again, Des, isn't it?
No, I'm going to build you up afterwards. I'm leading you up the hill, but yeah, I didn't see any way back for him after Leicester.
Neither did we, Curtis.
Yeah, I thought there was no way back, but if you stay up and, because the thing is, when you get in the Prem, it's all about staying in the Prem. You know what I mean? We've seen Fulham come up, make loads of signings, get relegated, but now they've come back. They look a more solid unit, like they could be in the league for a few years. So I think if you can just get over these next 2 weeks, it'd be interesting. Like, how many points do you think you'll need to stay up? Do you think you need one win? Do you think a draw will be enough?
One win.
One win.
Well, a point. I don't think. What do you think, Des? Before we do this, I've got a super chat for Chris and where is Truth?
Where is he?
Where Truth? Where are you?
Where is he? 10 minutes, you said.
He must be said 10 minutes, but he's in Denmark with his son doing a football tournament. So I don't know where he is, but people in the comments message him on Twitter where he is. Well, I don't know where he is. But shout out to Truth though. Des, we need to win, don't we? Because if we don't win, I can't take Crystal Palace away. That's no stress. That's no stress, isn't it?
Well, it is, but we'd have taken it at the start of the season again, wouldn't we? Just like Curtis would have took Arsenal finishing second. Yeah. But I think what worries me right now, and all these point totals are getting bandied about, is it's this goal difference thing. You know, we've obviously got the worst goal difference of the lot. So 3 points is effectively 2 points. Yeah. You know. It doesn't. If you look at it that way, it doesn't look quite so comfortable with the games the other teams have got. If we get beat by Arsenal tomorrow, and one of them or a couple of them pick up points, 1 or 2 or whatever, it's not quite so comfortable. I'd like to think 1 point would keep us up, but again, you look at the fixtures. Leeds have got West Ham. West Ham are going to be thinking about the Europa League. They go and win that one, they're above us if we get beat by Arsenal. You know, so it becomes really tough again. I think what Forest need to do, and I think it's the case, we're seeing everything that's coming out of Forest and how much we're making of this game, is somehow we've got to go out and win tomorrow and just put it to bed. Like I said right at the start, it's now or never. It's not quite, is it? Because we've got Palace next week, and if we win that one, I think 36 will keep us up. Because then you're asking 2 teams who can't win for toffee to try and win both their last games. Yeah, it's possible. I refer to it a lot, though. You know, I will. Fulham a couple of years ago, good while ago now, 10 years ago, at half time with 3 games to go, they were relegated. They were like 9 points adrift. They were 2-0 down at Manchester City and won 3-2, and then won the last 2 and stayed up. So anything's possible. It just. The situation with Forest now just worries me with this goal difference. And I just think that's why 3 points is massive. What I will say, as tough as Palace is, you know, again, they've got Zaha missing. And it's that thing, isn't it? It's the last game of the season. Then Palace players, they're either going to go in for a crunching tackle and potentially get injured and miss 3 weeks in Marbella by sitting on the injury table, or they're not going to go in for that crunching tackle. So that gives us some real hope in the fact we've got one of those teams in that mid-table security. You look at Everton tomorrow, and I've already mentioned Leeds at West Ham, and they've got the Europa Cup, and they're practically safe. Everton have got Wolves. Wolves have got 40 points now. And again, those players aren't really going to be going in for the big tackles. What you'd hope is that teams like Everton and Leeds put a lot in and then get picked off. Hopefully, Forest can do it against an Arsenal team. We spoke before we come on. We said to Curtis, we'd have liked Man City to play first this weekend, because then we'd have felt, again, it would just be that extra level of deflation in the Arsenal team if City had gone and won the league. But you never know, do you? It's a City ground. We've won 27 points out of 54. 27 points out of 33 at the City ground. That's for a team in our position. That's quite incredible. And we've all harked back this week, having watched City, to the fact we was the last team they didn't beat.
I know.
Don't rub it in there. Don't rub it in.
You did better than Real Madrid. You did better than Real Madrid against them. Do you know what I mean? You got a draw.
And we scored. Remember, Forest fans, we scored one of the best goals against them as well. But no one talks about it because we're not a top 6 team. So it is what it is.
Personally, I think. Do you know what? I think I think the danger, like Des is saying, is looking. I think Leicester are gone, but I think Everton and Leeds might get one win out of those last two. That's the only issue, you know. So,
Dear Curtis Shaw, please win them out. Yo, why? No, pipe down, you bellend. Yes, you're going down. You're going down. Shout to Lee Chapman. Shout.
Chappy, though.
Yeah, Chapman.
Yeah,
Curtis.
Do you know what? I think tomorrow's an opportunity for you, and I hate to talk like this as an Arsenal fan, but I just think it, like if I'm Cooper and I'm saying to that Forest team, go for this Arsenal team right now. You know, we've lost 2 players to injury this week. We had a shocking performance last week. You know, the players. I mean, Arteta did his press conference today. He said, "Oh, we can still win the league, but you know, City have got to lose 2 of their last 3 games. There's no chance they're going to win the league on Sunday." So, I think, I mean, it's your last home game of the season, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, you got to make sure your next home game is still in the Premier League. You don't want to be going Stoke away.
No, you're taking them. You're taking them. No,
you don't want to be going Stoke.
Yo, you don't want to talk about Stoke City to me, but I'm pissed off with that result, man. Fuck Stoke.
I did like the Stoke vlog though. Sammy Amiobi header. That's a classic one. That one.
No, that was 4 years ago.
That's one of my favorite vlogs.
Yo, that was mad. That was mad. People, before we get Curtis' prediction, please subscribe to all our channels. It's in the title. And still no Troops. I don't know what Troops says, but I think he's crazy in Denmark somewhere, but still no Troops. But I'll get him back on the show soon. People, get your score predictions if you can. I'll get Curtis's in a minute. Des, what's your score prediction tomorrow?
I've no idea. You know, I don't want to just be silly about it. I've just absolutely no idea. All I want from Forest is them to, in a way, approach the game like they did against Chelsea. I want them to pin Taiwo on Rob Holding. You know,
he won't play. He won't play, will he? He won't play.
They'll play Kivior, but he can be got at. He can be got at.
Or whoever their weak link is at the back, you know, pin Taiwo on them, push them backwards like we did at Chelsea in the first half. You know, we were magnificent in that first half at Chelsea. You know, for the first time this season, I felt we did everything right in one half of football. We won tackles, we won headers, we didn't give the ball away. Second half, first 15 minutes, we give them the ball twice. You know, we give them the game. So I just think Forest are going to approach it in the same way, pin them back a little bit, go for them. We've seen Southampton went 2-0 up. You know, the high press of, God forbid I mention that word, but push them backwards and, you know, keep them in their own half. And I think then we've got a chance. And as the game goes on, you know, if Arsenal are in a battle, and again, for all those reasons I said, I'm not disrespecting what they've done in the league or other football clubs. It's human nature, isn't it? If the season's just about over, you know, the more we're fighting and kicking and scrapping, they're not quite going to be up for it. And we just have to keep in the game, stay in the game. You know, the key thing against Chelsea was getting that first goal. And even though we conceded 2 poor goals, in my opinion, we was only 1 goal down. What we don't want to do is concede a goal, have to go chasing it, you know, and then all of a sudden you're 2-3-0 down before you know it. And then you've got no chance. I think it's just about almost approaching it like an away game. You know, Arsenal are going to kick the ball around for 20 minutes, aren't they? Because they do it against everyone. But if we keep them at arm's length, we've got a chance. And I think, I don't know. I really can't predict it. But obviously my head's going to tell me Forest are going to nick it 1-0 because when we win at the City Ground, we tend to win 1-0. But I'd take anything. I'd take a point. I'd take a 0-0. I'd take a 1-1. I'd take absolutely anything tomorrow.
Before I get Curtis' prediction, I've got another super chat. This one's best. Thank you for the £4.99. Appreciate it. Much love for that. Hi, guys. I'm predicting for tomorrow, but Forest will win 2-1. I hope we do. Fucking hope we just want to win. I just want to win and stay up. That's all that matters. Curtis, before we go, what's your score prediction for tomorrow, my friend?
I'm a bit like Desi. It's it's hard to call because it's like I don't know what Arsenal are going to turn up. You know, I've watched them the last few weeks and they're going through. If they turn up and they're motivated and they move the ball properly, I think will cause you problems. If we turn up and feel sorry for ourselves, you'll be all over us. I think you need to turn it into a horrible game for us. You know, I don't know. Is he back in your team?
Yep,
I know,
he's back.
Yates and a one. You just make it a physical, horrible game. You know, he's played Jorginho and Xhaka in midfield the last 3 weeks. Now, it's good when you're on the ball and you're bopping it, but us three are probably quicker than them two in midfield. I'm telling you, they can't move. So the likes of Danilo with his energy and that, I'll be honest, I'm not confident. I'm not confident that we're going to win. I'm not. I think you're going to think a 1 year's going to cause problems. I think Johnson and Gibbs-White, I just think we've checked out. I'll be honest. I think we've checked out. I'll probably go for a 2-2 draw. I'm not going to go for a defeat, but I think we'll concede.
I'll take a 2-2 draw, people. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I've got another super chat. Thank you for £7p. Thank you for that, Josh. Right, that's it. Massive game for both clubs. Not for both clubs. Arsenal still got a slight chance to win the league, but I'm trying to give Curtis some confidence. But
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen. But because we all know, Forest
what's
win.
your score prediction? I heard nothing yet.
You know, everyone knows the rules of I don't give my score prediction out to the game. That's how it is, Chris.
We have to watch the vlog. We have to watch the vlog to find out.
Vlog. Everyone knows my rule. I don't do it because I'm bad luck. I'm bad luck when I give it away next day. But people, if you want to know my score prediction, watch out for the vlog tomorrow. Chris, it's been a pleasure as always, brother. Always.
Thank you, bro.
Keep working.
Listen, keep up your great work. I always support your channel, always watching,
Always.
And the vlogs are quality as well. Big up, Des. First time I've spoke to you, but I've watched your channel. I always see you on Dore's channel. You put him in his place as well, which someone.
Stop giving him confidence.
Someone's got to put him in his place. You know what I mean?
Somebody's got to shut him up for 2 seconds.
That's it. You know. So but I love the channel and keep doing your thing. Hopefully, we're doing previews next season.
100%. Like I said, people show some love to Kurt's channel. All you will do is go on his link and hit the subscribe because my guy Kurt, before we do go, Kurt, how long have you been doing your channel? Because I do remember that message you said to me, Ben. How can I start? And you've just gone. The work that you've done, it's good to see from what you're doing. From like people, he's from Nottingham, and the work you're doing, Kurt, it's amazing, man. So I'm gonna give you a little props to you for what you've been doing as well.
No, I appreciate it. I started it just before lockdown, and I think, lockdown, everyone just sitting in the house, like football streams just went through the roof. And I suppose I was quite lucky because after lockdown, there was about 100 Arsenal channels. There was a new channel every day.
Yes.
So I think I got in there just before it all kind of blew up. And then, just fortunately, it took off. And I've got strong opinions. It ain't for everyone.
Not for everyone. I remember even when Arteta was doing shocking, I seen him, Curtis, going crazy. I think it was 2 years ago, going mad. Even if when you won the FA Cup that time, you were still going crazy. But like I said, people, please show some love to Curtis channel because he's just fantastic for what he does, and it's mad. It's crazy to see. But keep up good work, bro. Keep good work.
Appreciate it. And we'll touch base after tomorrow, depending on how it goes.
Yo, like I said, people, Forest got a fantastic record at Arsenal. We've beaten twice, so hopefully we can do third time lucky. We haven't got Lewis Graben this time or Eric Lehigh, but hopefully we can do another Brennan Johnson to just to keep us up, people. But Curtis and Des, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on my show. Before we do go, there's a massive thing that you can do for me. At the top of the link, Amanda, she's got given away a Nottingham Forest away top signed by all Forest players. If you do want to get one, please link in the description, click on it, and it only costs £1 to get it, so please do. Right, tomorrow, big game for Forest. Hopefully we can win, we can stay up, and we can meet Curtis next season in the Premier League. It's been a pleasure, people, and I'll see you Sunday for the review show. Peace and love, up the Forest.